Hello, welcome to another interesting episode of Sports Cruise on the Media channel. My name is Josiah, where today we'll be taking a look at some of the most interesting topics flying around the world of sports, where we begin at Chelsea, where their 17-year-old who is currently playing for Palmeiras, that's Willian Estevao Almeida de Oliveira Goncalves, who was only born in April 2007, is set to earn his first call-up for the Brazilian national team. Estevao currently is or has been involved in the most goals in the Brazilian top flight, scoring 7 goals and adding 6 more assists, and made history by becoming the first ever player to be involved in more goals before the age of 18. He received the call-up to the Brazilian national team for the upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifiers between Ecuador and also Paraguay. But then there's how the little chap, or the young guy who is a prodigy in Brazil, celebrated the call-up.
Do Real Madrid, Estevao, Luiz Henrique, do Botafogo.
Ai, Jesus, obrigado, Senhor. Obrigado, Jesus. Obrigado, Jesus. Obrigado, Jesus. Obrigado, Senhor.
Parabéns. E Vinícius Júnior.
Meu Deus.
All right, so Estevao Willian celebrated his call-up to join the Brazilian national team. He's only 17 years of age, and he'll be joining Chelsea in the summer of 2025. But that's what the head coach of Brazil, Dorival Jr., had to say about the young chap. He said, "Estevao's emerging, showing us great things. I hope he has a brilliant career. We need patience, can't evaluate too early. He's evolving constantly. The last 12 to 15 months, his whole life changed. Need to be careful not to lose a kid with this capacity." So he's set to blossom in the next couple of years as a young chap, only 17 years of age, and the world will be hoping to see what he has for the Brazilian national team. All right, so Aston Villa in their weekend Premier League game against Arsenal did something bizarre that got the world of football in a very, very shocking state. Aston Villa, before their game against Arsenal at the Villa Park, ended up displaying their Champions League trophy at the beginning of the game against Arsenal. Mind you that Aston Villa were champions in Europe in the 81-82 season, and Arsenal, on the other hand, do not have any trophies at all. But the question is, why do Aston Villa display their Champions League trophy before a Premier League game? They have one CL, and Arsenal, at this point, have got none or 0 Champions League trophies. And the question people are asking is that, are Villa trying to mock Arsenal, or what was the whole, displaying your Champions League trophy about? But at the end of the day, the action that he took ended up angering Arsenal, and Arsenal won by 2-0 thanks to Trossard and then also Thomas Partey. But was it necessary in a Premier League game for Aston Villa to display the UEFA or their Champions League or European Cup, a trophy that they won? So the Premier League handle on X ended up posting a video of Premier League players mentioning their own names for fans and commentators to get the right pronunciations. And some of the names heard on the day were quite, interesting, because that's not how we've heard those names being mentioned, as the players took turns to mention their own names. And interestingly, even Bruno Fernandes is not mentioned as Bruno Fernandes. Let's listen to the Premier League players with the most obscure names and pronunciations.
Erling Braut Haaland,
Bruno Fernandes,
Sean Dyche,
Tomáš Souček,
Joshua Zirkzee,
Tosin Adarabioyo,
Arne Slot,
Wout Vaas,
Riccardo Calafiori,
Vladimir Coufal,
Iliman Ndiaye,
Niklas Füllkrug,
Ben Brereton Diaz,
Mark Gill,
Nuno Espírito Santo,
Yukinari Sugawara,
Tim Iroegbunam,
Steffi Mabedidi.
So, Chelsea forward Noni Madueke tore Wolves into pieces at the Molineux in match week 2 in the Premier League after Chelsea triumphed over Wolves by 6 goals to 2. And Noni Madueke grabbing his first ever Premier League hat-trick, walking away with the match ball. But the interesting conversation has been surrounding the things that happened before the commencement of the game, a day before, where Noni Madueke took to Instagram to post about Wolves, saying that everything about this place, which is Wolves, is shit. Then later, deleted a post and came back saying that it was a mistake and said, again, that damn wrong Instagram account, you lot are too fast. After people actually took a screenshot of what Noni Madueke had to say about the city of Wolverhampton. Then in the game, hours later, after posting all those outrageous things about Wolves, ended up bagging a hat-trick. And then also, Chelsea forward Nicholas Jackson also scoring Chelsea's first goal in the game, doing that celebration, which means that all his critics should just shut up. You know that Nicholas Jackson has come under a lot of criticism last season after signing for Chelsea from VRL for missing lots of chances in the Premier League. But the striker says he's not done yet, but he's there to prove his critics wrong. All right, so in a celebration aimed at, shutting up his critics, this is what Nicholas Jackson had to say on Instagram about his goal. He said, "Shut your mouth, don't talk shit. We are killing ourselves in Africa," after his fellow African and retired Chelsea player John Mikel Obi criticized the striker for not scoring too many goals and said that he is nothing to be compared to Chelsea legends like Didier Drogba and co. Manchester City and English defender Kyle Walker has ranked a list of attackers he's faced recently that he deems are the most dangerous, and he's really had a tough time dealing with these attackers. And in an interview, Walker listed 3 players whom all do not ply their trades in England. He went on to say that Vinicius Jr. is actually the most or the toughest attacker he's ever played against. He also mentioned Kylian Mbappe and then Lamine Yamal. All these 3 players not plying their trades in the English Premier League. So the question is that, is it that there aren't any good wingers in the Premier League and Walker has been left, to dominate all these attackers? Or in actual sense, the best wingers are playing currently in Spain? And if you're a winger playing in the Premier League, how do you take this news and what do you do the next time you face Kyle Walker when your team comes up against Man City? But do you agree with Walker with a list of players naming Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, and teenager Lamine Yamal as the toughest players he's ever faced or toughest wingers he's ever played against?